The Dan Townley Breakfast Show. Weekdays 8 till 10 on Six Towns Radio.
Yes, it is. Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 1st of August 2017. We've made it. Pinch punched first of the month and all of that. It is the Dan Townley Breakfast Show on Six Towns Radio. And joining me on the phone right now is comedian Milton Jones. Milton, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm sitting here in my pajamas with messed up hair, as you might expect.
I mean, it's pretty much the same as I am right now, except from I'm in front of a microphone. So it's like we're sharing this moment. It's fine. How are you this morning? Are you okay?
Yes, the joy. Yeah, fine. Yes, I haven't been long up, but I'm normally up at this time. To be fair, I have children, so that helps.
I was saying to you before, I always apologise for getting people up this early because I feel like it's my duty to go, I'm sorry, but thank you. Sorry, but thank you. It's kind of, thank you.
No, it's fine, it's fine. It's a good start to the day.
Oh, thank you very much. Let's talk about your tour. It's called Milton Jones is Out There. It starts in September and you're stopping off in Stoke-on-Trent on the 14th of October. What can people expect from this tour?
Don't expect anything to change your life or your political persuasions. However, if you like daft and stupid jokes, then there are literally hundreds. And there are props and flags and music and hats and all sorts. And but there will be lots of jokes. If you don't like jokes, don't come.
Yeah, if you don't like jokes, it's definitely not for you. I think that's what it would be. You do specialise in the one-line jokes, and I think you've read somewhere you said like when you first started, you wanted to get to the punchline very quickly. Did you ever try with other styles of comedy, or was it always the one-liners?
Yeah, I have tried occasionally. I mean, I think the first time I ever went on Not So Weak, I tried a sort of David Mitchell rant about something and then thought, what am I doing? This isn't me. I've never done this before in my life, and I'm doing it on television. So, no, you get known for doing one particular thing, and I've got a short attention span anyway, so I quite like, changing tack quickly and moving on to something else, and quite often the thoughts that I bring aren't worth dwelling on for very long anyway, so try and pack in as many as possible and give chance for, if you don't like one, there'll be another one along in a minute that you might like.
When it comes to writing the jokes, is it a case of do you just sit down and go, I've got this theme that I'm going to do on this week, or is it a case of you write them down whenever you come to it? You're always thinking about the next joke and the next punchline?
Yeah, always subconsciously. You're always making mental notes of little things to come back to, and then there's nothing like seeing people buying tickets for a show to suddenly make you think, no, I should probably get these thoughts together and put them in an order and some kind of story. So that's the adrenaline that makes it happen. I'm just about to go up to the Edinburgh Fringe, actually, to try out bits and pieces. So there's nothing like doing it in front of a live audience. Even if you've written something during the day and then you're sitting behind the stage and you're hearing people walk into the theatre, you suddenly look at your bits of paper and thought, well, that's not going to work, is it? So you've actually got to force yourself to speak out loud in front of real people. And then you might find the bit that doesn't work, doesn't go anywhere, but you improvise off the back of that and something else does happen. But you'd never have got to point B without point A, even though point A was rubbish. So you've just got to get up and do stuff.
How long did it take you as a performer to get comfortable to go out on stage with the material that you've written? Or is it a case of because you've done it for a long time now, you go, right, I'm going to do this and then I've got stuff to fall back on? Or is it a case of you know you're going to do new stuff and that's what you want to do?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. You tend to sandwich new stuff between old stuff that works already, so you can always go back to the old stuff. And also, I do quite a lot of things that they call work in progress, where the audience kind of knows that I'm trying out stuff as well. And, they pay less or they boo less or whatever they do. And so I'm literally experimenting as I go. It's the only way to do it, because everyone's hilarious at home on their own notebook. And it's not until you stand up in front of people that you suddenly, you see where the cracks are and what you need to do. And also with one-liners, one syllable or putting the whole idea the other way around can change the thing so that it works. So you have to do the same thing quite a lot quite often I get the feeling, like looking for buried treasure, that there's something in it So I haven't quite hit the right wording yet. So I just need to put it another way, put it another way, put it another. And eventually it falls into place, hopefully.
It's like a science that goes into the formation of it, and it's something which you kind of, as somebody who watches comedy, you don't really appreciate that kind of the formation of it, like you said, the work in progress gigs, the going up to the Edinburgh Fringe. You are going to go up to Edinburgh Fringe, you just said.
Yes, I'm going up Thursday for 2 weeks.
Obviously, you've done that before. It's a very different audience, isn't it, for the Edinburgh Fringe? It's different from what you'd expect on tour. So do you have to change the set on what you would do, or is it a kind of, you will try the new jokes as well? So it's like a best of, sort of.
Yes, I only have to do an hour in Edinburgh, whereas the tour show is longer. So I can take what I know works already and put it into a show. Also, you're right in that the audience is slightly different. They may be seeing 4 or 5 shows a day, and so maybe they have slightly shorter attention span, but they also have probably seen quite a lot of things before already, so they're harder to surprise. They're quite an international audience because a lot of them are tourists.
Yeah.
So you can work the crowd in terms of, where you're all from a bit, which is usually okay. But what's good is you end up doing 20-odd nights in a row, so you get into the rhythm of doing it. You find exactly what works or what needs tightening up. So I will be aware of the show that.
And it almost prepares you for your tour, I guess. If you're doing the 20 nights in a row, it prepares you for that tour.
It's a bit like pre-season training for footballers, in that you've got to go in and get some fitness before the season starts.
I like that you view it as pre-season. That is properly brilliant. I absolutely love that. You're getting a pre-season tour up to Edinburgh. I'm going to fit that in before my tour actually starts.
Exhibition games.
A nice friendly just to kick you off. You have got a trademark. It's kind of like a trademark look now with your shirts. It's kind of the bright coloured shirts and the spiky hair. And how did that come about? Is that something that you started with, or is that something that came later on in your career?
I started just pretty much as I was, but sometimes I found it worked and it didn't. But I found if I looked strange, somehow it gave me 2 seconds at the top of the show while everyone went, "What? What's that?" And it was somehow less threatening to stag parties and things. It was like a big signpost to say, "This isn't, straightforward. I'm coming from left field here." So, and then, it's worked out as a nice way. I guess the term is branding, but, if you do that on television, people don't necessarily remember your name, but they do say, "Oh, the guy with the hair," or the guy with the crazy shirts. And then in the end, when people come and see me on tour, quite often they dress up, or you get a whole row of people with shirts and silly hair. So it's become a sort of pantomime thing now that I can't get out of.
I was just
it's quite hard to find a good shirt.
It's hard to find a good shirt, but is it a bit off-putting when you see people dressed exactly like you, staring back at you? Is that an off-putting thing?
Well, it's a compliment in a way, but it's just slightly unnerving if there's a whole row of them. You see a whole family that have made the effort to dress up the same as you. I mean, it's sort of nice, but slightly scary at the same time. So, I like it. I think it's a good thing. It shows they're committed to the show, at least.
With obviously you having kind of obviously people following you said the brand of the t-shirts and the hair, the spiky hair. Do you ever get to a point where people kind of, whether they would follow you on tour, so watch you in different cities? Has that happened before with you? Or
yes,
is that a bit off-putting?
Some people, very, very keen people will go and see me several times on the same tour, and again, that's a little bit. On the one hand, I'm very pleased. On the other hand, I'm going, why would you do that? I can't see myself doing that. But it's great. I mean, it is good. And sometimes, they dress up or they leave you a cake at reception or something. And I wonder what's in that. But
it's a
good thing.
You
it's a good thing. People. It's also, it's a style which some people are really into, and quite often when I do, say, a corporate show or something, I look out and there are people laughing, and there are 1 or 2 people just staring. So it leaves some people cold, which is I take that as a challenge to try and make them laugh, but I appreciate that it's not everyone's cup of tea. As I say, it's jokes.
You said it's a specific style, and not many people do the style of comedy that you do. Anyway, there's a couple that come to mind, but it's kind of you are like for the one-liners, people would go straight to your name. Is that an added pressure when you're going on tour, when you're going on telly, because you have got this? I am known for this. Is that a pressure for you, or does it make you relax?
Not really. I mean, you've got to get a balance between you want to move on artistically. You don't want to keep doing the same jokes again and again. But you can't really escape, as you say, into a different style. So you have to strike a balance there. And, I use pictures and music and odd bits and pieces that I wouldn't do on television, say. So to try and make a longer story, but it's still full of one-liners. And, you've just got to try and keep it fresh for yourself as well. And there are one or two bits in the show where I say, just give me a subject. And people can shout out stuff, and sometimes I make something up out of it that's better than other times. But if you've done a show, 40 or 50 times, those are the bits you kind of look forward to, where you're thrown back on just your memory or your wit. And also, it tells everyone in the audience that they're not watching television every so often, that it is interactive. So, that's the point of going to the real theatre.
Are people, do when they meet you after when you have done a tour, when you have done a show in their town, when people meet you, do they find it hard to kind of adjust between off-stage Milton and on-stage Milton? Do they?
Yes, I mean, quite often what happens is people say hello to me, but they've no idea why they're saying hello. In the street, because they sort of know me, but I look different, and they think I'm a neighbour or someone they were at school with. And it's not only, especially going up to Edinburgh or something where there are loads of comedy people, that I'll get more recognised because, people put two and two together, especially because my poster's all over the place. But, there is. I mean, I think there are two types of comedian. There's the one who is the same all the time. And then there is the one who is two different people, who's more or less playing a character and has, I always say, I said before, the thicker the crowd, the higher the hair has to go. So it depends, if I'm doing a radio show, I've done quite a lot for Radio 4, I hardly have to put my hair up at all because everyone knows what they're in for in the audience. But if I'm doing a show, maybe a charity event or something where half the people don't know, never seen me do stuff before, then the hair goes right up just to give them an idea of, that this isn't normal. But one-liners are great for television because you can get in and say your thing and get out really quickly. It's much harder if you've got a storytelling technique.
Yeah, that's always interesting me about the on-stage and off-stage thing, obviously, because it's kind of a character. It's more of, obviously, it's a more heightened version of yourself. So it's interesting to see if anything happens like off-stage and on-stage. You have been doing stand-up for quite a while, as I mentioned before. Has there anything surprised you about the way that the comedy industry's changed since you have started and now?
Yeah, years ago when I started, it was called alternative comedy, and now it's just comedy. So, it's mainstream, it's Saturday night television. It's the guys who I did the circuit with 10, 15 years ago are now, household names or whatever. So that's all. I mean, it's been slightly amazing that it's become so big in that, that there is so much panel games and comedy and all that, which is great for those of us who work in it. I don't know where it goes from here because presumably some students or something need to become alternative comedians again, break away from the mainstream and set up something else. That's just the way the art will work a bit. But I'm surprised it's such a big industry now. And also, I guess, though, it's quite economical. It's just someone talking. Whereas if it was a song and dance music show, it would require all sorts of instruments and choreographers and things. But someone talking is actually great for television.
And have you got any advice for people who do want to get into comedy? If they're listening to this and thinking, I'd love to give it a go. Have you got any advice for people out there?
First, stop talking about doing it and just get out and do it. As with a lot of things that people talk about, the actual experience of doing it is far different. And if you're talking about it a lot, you're definitely not a comedian. comedians tend to stop talking about it once they're doing it. You've also got to do it 100%. I don't know if you play rugby, but if you went into a rugby tackle half-hearted, you ended up hurt. But strangely, if you go in 100%, somehow the sheer effort of going in 100% means you don't get hurt. So you have to give it 2 years to see if you get anywhere. But you have to give that 100% and then see where you go from there. And if it doesn't work out for you, it doesn't mean you're a failure. Well, you might end up writing or producing or doing something different. But if it's inside you, you've got to give it a go sometime.
Just give it a go. I like that. Milton, where can people find you online and where can they find your tour dates?
Okay, miltonjones.com has got the full list of tour dates from the end of September, and it's now going on to the end of April, so it goes on, and I'll be up in Edinburgh this August. And
you're also on Twitter as well, at the Milton Jones. Obviously, Milton, thank you very much for having a chat with us this morning. Best of luck up Edinburgh, and hopefully see you on tour when you're here in Stoke, which is the 14th of October, and you're at the Victoria Hall here in Stoke-on-Trent. Milton, thank you very much.